Good morning, student. In my previous video, I have discussed the replication of the DNA and how the DNA form the new DNA. But in this video, I shall discuss the next part, that is your transcription process, how the DNA molecule synthesize the mRNA molecule, and the process is called the transcription. Now, this transcription is the first phase of the gene expression for the protein. Now, what is this transcription and how it occurs? Now, the first phase, that is the DNA molecule which synthesize the RNA molecule. Of course, there are different types of RNA. Here, mRNA, that is the messenger RNA. Then this is the rRNA or ribosomal RNA, and another one RNA, that is called tRNA. But for the expression of the genes, the mRNA is more important because it actually codes for the protein. The amino acid sequence is determined by this mRNA and the message is sent by the DNA. So how this message, which is stored there in the DNA molecule, it sends to the mRNA, and from the mRNA how it is expressed in the form of protein, and these are nothing but the character. Now, this DNA transcription process, which is normally expressed by a transcription unit model, and this model is normally designed how this mRNA is synthesized here. Now, what is an RNA molecule and what is the difference between the DNA and the RNA molecule? Of course, the DNA is double-stranded, whereas the RNA molecule is single-stranded. And another important thing is the uracil nitrogenous base is present in the RNA, whereas this thymine is absent here. So uracil is present in place of thymine. Now, next important thing, during the replication process, during the transcription process, only one segment of the DNA, suppose it is a very long DNA segment, but this long DNA segment is not expressed at a time, but only one segment, it is the only one segment of DNA is expressed at a time, not the whole DNA molecule, as in case of replication process. In DNA replication, the whole DNA replicate to form a new DNA, but here the part of the DNA, it is only one segment of the DNA, it is normally takes part in the process of transcription, and after transcription it forms an mRNA, and this mRNA, it prepares one polypeptide chain. So that is why only a part of the DNA, which is actually essential or which is needed for the cell, it is expressed or it forms the mRNA, not the whole DNA. Now, next important thing, only one strand is copied here. In case of DNA replication, both the strands are copied simultaneously, but here, in case of transcription process, suppose these are two strands and this is a transcriptional unit. What happens here? Only one strand is copied. Suppose this is strand 1 and this is strand 2. So this only one strand, suppose this is strand 1, it only forms the mRNA. And another strand, it is silent. It is non-functional because only one strand is formed. Why not the two strands normally form the mRNA simultaneously? So what would be the problem? If two strands will form the mRNA, then what will happen? Suppose this is the strand 1 having the different codes, and if it will form an mRNA, suppose this mRNA of strand 1 mRNA will be different from that of the RNA or mRNA which is formed from strand 2. The strand 2 mRNA, it will be different. So that is why the same segment of DNA, they will form two different polypeptide chains. Suppose this strand 1, they will form the mRNA different one and they form the polypeptide. And another S2, the sequence of this mRNA will be different. So it will form an another polypeptide. So two different polypeptides will be formed here, and when two different polypeptides will be formed, two different protein sequence of the polypeptide protein will be formed. So that is why it will be a confusion. That again, if both the mRNA will be complementary to one another, suppose it is A, U, C, G, and here A, U, A, G, C. So these are complementary base. So that is why when two mRNA will be synthesized, then they may recoil or form a double-stranded mRNA. It may form a double-stranded mRNA, and it becomes functionless, and it will not translate into protein. So that is why it is also another problem. So that is the DNA molecule. It codes for mRNA and another strand remains silent. Okay. Now this is explained through this transcriptional unit. Now this transcriptional unit consists of mainly three important phases or three important parts. The first part or first region, it is called the promoter region. This promoter region, which is present in the DNA, and the DNA which is double stranded, suppose this one, the upper line, it is called template strand, and the lower one, it is called coding strand. Actually this template strand, it has its own base sequence, nitrogen base sequence, and the coding strand, it has its own base sequence complementary to this one. But this coding strand, it becomes silent, but the template strand, it actually code for the mRNA. Now this structure, promoter region, it is present in the 3' end of the template strand, or it is in the 5' of coding strand. Now what happens here in the promoter region? From this point, actually the mRNA synthesis starts. Now this mRNA, which is formed from here, this is, if it is the 3' end, then the mRNA, when it will be synthesized, then in this direction it will synthesize, and the 5' of the mRNA will be here, and the 3' of the mRNA will proceed in this way. So mRNA synthesis proceeds in the 5' to 3' direction. Promoter region, the RNA polymerase enzyme. Now this RNA polymerase, actually it binds to the promoter region. In this promoter region, the RNA polymerase enzyme binds here. And this RNA polymerase, actually it synthesizes the RNA primer. Now this RNA primer will form, then it will start and form the mRNA. So that is why in the promoter side, normally the RNA polymerase binds and it polymerizes the mRNA molecule. It starts here. Now the middle part of this DNA, that is consists of the structural gene. Then what are the structural genes? Now what is a gene? The gene is nothing but the functional unit of inheritance. Normally earlier this gene was taken in the different form. One gene, one character hypothesis was there. At that time, there was no much more idea about it. So that is why it was thinking that one gene synthesizes one character. Second, one character is having a large number of proteins. So that is why it is not possible to synthesize one character by one gene only. Now next, it's confined to one gene, one protein hypothesis. So this protein is also a very much complex one. That is why later on it was discarded. Next, one gene, one enzyme hypothesis. One gene, one enzyme hypothesis. That means one gene synthesizes one enzyme. The enzyme molecule is also a complex molecule. So that is why it was proved that one gene cannot synthesize one enzyme. So now it is confirmed that one gene, one functional gene can synthesize only one polypeptide. A small polypeptide chain can only be synthesized by this gene. So this is why this gene is a functional unit of the inheritance or heredity of the characters from one generation to another generation. So this polypeptide chain, now it is one polypeptide chain, and there are so many polypeptide chains formed by the different mRNA. Then they join together to form a complex protein. So that is why the protein is a complex molecule, the enzyme is a complex molecule. So one gene cannot synthesize one enzyme or protein or character, but one gene can only synthesize one polypeptide chain. Now, this cistron is taken as another unit. This cistron actually coding for one polypeptide. So that is why now this gene is considered to be a cistron. It is the part or segment of the DNA molecule. Suppose this is a DNA molecule. These are the structural genes. So this structural gene consists of one cistron. And this cistron or this part, it will synthesize one mRNA, and this mRNA will synthesize one polypeptide chain. So that is why this is one cistron. So it is also another unit. Now, next one, that is your termination, or how the termination of the mRNA synthesis occurs here. During this termination, what happens? The template strand, it codes for the mRNA, and when this mRNA is synthesized from this template strand, lastly the terminator molecule, it is a terminator end is here towards the 5' end of the template strand, or it is the 3' end of the coding strand, and the mRNA synthesis occurs in this direction, 5' to 3'. Now, in the terminator region, what happens? It actually stops the formation of this mRNA, and when this stops here, automatically now an mRNA is synthesized here. And this mRNA synthesis, how does it occur? We shall discuss here the mechanism of this formation of the mRNA. But this mechanism occurs in the small unit of the DNA, which is having one promoter region, one terminator region, and in between these two, this is the structural gene, and the structural gene is having the two strands. One is the template strand and another is the coding strand. And the coding strand remains silent. It does not synthesize the mRNA, but the template strand actually synthesizes the mRNA. But how does it occur? ये कैसे होता है? Now we shall discuss the mechanism of transcription. Now this transcription mechanism, as we have already discussed about the unit. Now this transcription mechanism is different in case of prokaryotes and in eukaryotes. Now, first of all, we shall discuss the transcription process. How does it occur in case of prokaryotes like bacteria? Now, this transcription process occurs in the bacteria in three important steps. The first one, that is the initiation, then the elongation, then the termination. Now, what is this initiation? Look at this figure here. This is a DNA template, and this DNA, it contains this site according to your transcriptional unit. This is the first one, that is the promoter region, and in this promoter region, it attaches the RNA polymerase enzyme, and this RNA polymerase, it is the most important enzyme here, because this RNA polymerase enzyme catalyzes the whole process of transcription. Now, another important factor, that is the sigma factor. This is the sigma factor attached here. The sigma factor and the RNA polymerase, when they bind in the promoter site, then it initiates the transcription process. Now, after that, the next step is the elongation. Elongation, during this process, the mRNA formed from the template strand. These are two strands. The first one, upper one, this is the template strand, and another one, the lower one, this is the coding strand. But the mRNA is actually synthesized from the template strand. Now this template strand is from 3' to 5' end, but the mRNA which is synthesized here, it is from 5' to 3' end. Because this mRNA which is synthesizing here, it is the 5' end and it is the 3' end. Now the enzyme, that is the RNA polymerase, is normally facilitated to open the helix. Suppose this is the DNA one and this is the helix, and this helix also open in this way, and it going on opening and it proceeds on formation of the mRNA. In this direction, the DNA helix is open and it proceeds in this direction. Now the ribonucleotide, that is called your ribonucleotide units, you can say. These nucleotide units, now they add one after another. Suppose this is the first nucleotide, this is second nucleotide, third nucleotide, and these nucleotides they join together and they form the mRNA. Now this elongation of the chain, it is mediated by this RNA polymerase enzyme and the sigma factor which is attached here. But gradually when it proceeds, the sigma factor detached from here, and when it reaches to the termination site, now the elongation stops there, and this is called the termination. And during this termination, another important factor, that is the Rho factor. This Rho factor now attached with the RNA polymerase. So when this Rho factor attached with the RNA polymerase, now this RNA polymerase now stops its function here and it detaches from the DNA chain or DNA helix, you can say. Suppose this is the terminator site, and when the terminator and when the mRNA synthesis proceeds in this way, and when it reaches to the termination site, automatically the Rho factor attached with the RNA polymerase, and now RNA polymerase separates from this DNA helix. And after that, what happened? The mRNA which was synthesized here, look at this mRNA. This mRNA also falls off from this DNA helix. And this mRNA which is now completely synthesized here, and this is a complete RNA. And there is no processing required here as in case of eukaryote. We shall discuss how this processing occurs. Now, I shall discuss the mechanism of transcription process in eukaryote. How this transcription occurs in eukaryote? We have already discussed the transcription mechanism in case of prokaryote. Now, what are the basic differences in the process of transcription in case of eukaryote? In prokaryote, only one RNA polymerase enzyme was involved and it completes the whole process of transcription. But in case of eukaryote, there are the three types of RNA polymerase. RNA polymerase 1, RNA polymerase 2 and RNA polymerase 3. Now, these three different types of polymerases or RNA polymerases, they perform three different types of function. Now, this RNA polymerase 1, it synthesizes the rRNA or ribosomal RNA, which actually constitute the ribosomes in the cytoplasm. And this ribosome helps in the formation of the proteins. Or during protein synthesis, it is very much useful. Now, the 28S RNA, 18S RNA and 8S RNA, which are the main constituents of the ribosomal RNA, these are synthesized by this RNA polymerase 1. But this RNA polymerase 2, it helps in the synthesis of the precursor of this mRNA, that is the heterogeneous RNA, or it is shortly called hnRNA. And this hnRNA later on processed into the functional mRNA, which is responsible for the synthesis of the protein molecules inside the cell. Now, the RNA polymerase 3, this polymerase actually helps in the synthesis of the transfer RNA or tRNA, which is very much useful in the transfer of the amino acid from the cytoplasm into the site of protein synthesis, and that is why this tRNA molecule is very much useful there in this process. Now this tRNA is synthesized by this RNA polymerase 3, and also this RNA polymerase 3 synthesizes the small RNA like your 5S RNA, which is the constituent of ribosomal RNA, and the snRNA, small nuclear RNA. And this small nuclear RNA, it actually helps in the process of RNA splicing. During splicing, it forms the spliceosomes, and spliceosomes normally help in the removal of the introns and normally the removal of the exons and addition of the intron, or addition of the removal of the introns and the addition of the exon. Exon are the essential part and the introns are the non-essential part. Now, this is the main difference between the mechanism of transcription in prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Now, another important difference is that the mechanism of the process, the formation of the mRNA. The main process, the promoter site, the terminator site, the structural gene, all these are same. But when the RNA polymerase 2, it synthesizes the hnRNA. After the formation of the hnRNA or heterogeneous RNA, this RNA which is formed here, it is hnRNA. Now, this RNA polymerase 2, RNA polymerase 2, actually it synthesizes the hnRNA. And this hnRNA, which normally consists of two important parts, exon and intron. The introns are the non-essential part, which are not required for the synthesis of the protein, but they are present in the mRNA. Now the exons, these are the actual essential part of the mRNA, and this sequence helps in the formation of the protein. So that is why this exon and introns which are present there in this mRNA, that is why it is called hnRNA. But after the formation of this, these non-essential segments are normally removed from this hnRNA. Now, this process completes in three sequences. The first one, that is the capping, then the tailing and splicing. Then what is the capping process? During this capping process, what happens? Normally an unusual nucleotide, that is called 7-methylguanosine. This 7-methylguanosine, it is normally attached in the promoter region of this mRNA. And here it is the 5' end, and in this 5' end it is attached, and it normally develops from the GTP, guanosine triphosphate, and this molecule is attached here, and in the 5' end, this process of attachment of this GTP GM or 7mg, it is called capping. Now this is very much useful for the process of splicing. Then another one is the tailing. During this tailing process, what happens? In the 3' end of this mRNA, the adenylate nucleotides, poly-A or polyadenylate nucleotides, they are added to the 3' end. Around 200 to 300 polyadenylates are attached in the tail part, and this process is called tailing, and this region is called poly-A region. This region is called poly-A region. Now, another most important part of this formation of mRNA, that is the splicing of this intron and exon. Then how the introns, the non-essential part, are removed, and the exons, the essential parts, joined together. Look at here. This is done by the snRNA, small nuclear RNA, and this small nuclear RNA, they attach in this site where it removes this part, the position part, and this intron part is to be removed. So that is why they are attached here. They cut them and remove them from here, and both the introns, exons, they join together. And this exon now join together to form the functional mRNA. Now I shall discuss how to solve the problems related to the base sequence in case of DNA helix. Now if the percentage of one base is given, then how can we calculate the percentage of other bases? Now suppose in this case we can take the example of cytosine. If the base percentage of cytosine, that is 30%, then how can we find the percentage of other bases like your A, T and G? Now if cytosine is 30%, then automatically the G or guanine will also be 30%. As we know, A or nitrogenous base A is equal to the nitrogenous base T because they form the bond, or these are the complementary bases. Now in this case, if cytosine is 30%, then automatically the guanine will be 30%. So in this way, now here the C plus G will be your 30 plus 30 is equal to 60%. Now there are two pairs of nitrogenous bases, so A plus T plus C plus G is 100%. Now if C plus G is 60%, then what about A plus T? Now A plus T is equal to 100 minus 60 is equal to 40%. So now we know that A number of adenine base is equal to number of thymine base. A is equal to T. So that is why now the number of nitrogenous bases A is equal to 40 divided by 2 is equal to 20%. So in this way, the A and T now both are having 20% and the G is 30%. So in this way, if the percentage of base sequence of one base is given, then we can easily calculate the percentage of bases of other three bases. So now, how can we calculate the sequence of the nitrogenous bases normally present in DNA or mRNA? Because the nitrogenous bases, which are normally complementary to one another, so in case of DNA, there are different strands are there, and how the base sequence is normally well controlled and well regulated. Now, you can just see a DNA strand. In a DNA strand, two types of strands are there. One is the template strand and another one is the coding strand. Now, the template strand and coding strand both are complementary to each other. So, if the template strand is having ATCG, ATCG, this type of sequence, then what about the base sequence of coding strand? Normally, the base sequence of coding strand will be automatically, that is, here A, T will be A, C, G, G, C. Now, A, T, A, G, C. So, here, if it is 5' end and if it is 3' end, automatically it will be your 3' end and it will be your 5' end. Now, if question is given that the template strand is given, then we can easily calculate easily write the base sequence of the coding strand. Now, if it is just given the direction in the opposite direction, if it is asked that if the coding strand, write the coding strand in 5' to 3' direction. So if it will be asked in this way, then the strand will be written in the opposite direction. It will be your C, G, A, T, C, G, A, T. So this will be your direction, because here it will be your 5 dash direction and it is your 3 dash direction. So in this way, the template strand and coding strand you can easily write, and if coding strand is given, then you can write the template strand, and the direction you can easily manage. Now when it is asked that if template strand is given and it is asked that write the sequence of the mRNA. So in the mRNA sequence, most important thing is that it is no doubt complementary, but in RNA, uracil is present in place of thymine, because thymine is absent in case of RNA and thymine is present in case of DNA. Suppose the sequence of DNA template is given, and we can easily write the base sequence of the mRNA. Suppose it is given CA, T, G, CA, T, G, CA, T, G. Suppose this is the base sequence of the template strand. Now, what will be the base sequence of the mRNA? Suppose it is from 5 dash to 3 dash end. Now here the mRNA will start from 3 dash end. But here what happened? The C, in case of C, the complementary will be G, A, here not T but U. And it is A, and it is C, and it is G, U, then A, C, then G, U, A, C. So this will be the sequence of the mRNA. But sometimes it is given that only the coding strand. It is given the sequence of the coding strand. Suppose this is the coding strand, like here A, T, G, C, A, T, G, C, A, T, G, C. Suppose this is the sequence of the coding strand. Then what will be the sequence of mRNA? Now, in case of mRNA, what will happen? The coding strand means what? It is just complementary to the template strand. So that is why the mRNA is actually synthesized from template strand, not from the coding strand. So that is why it will be similar to the sequence of the coding strand, but the T will be replaced by U. Then it will be your A, U, G, C, A, U, G, C, A, U, G, C. So in this way, it is the 3 dash end and it is the 5 dash end. So if it is asked that it is from 5 dash end to 3 dash end, or from 3 dash end to 5 dash end, then automatically you can change the direction, because sometimes some tricky questions are also asked in this way. Now, I think you can able to solve the problems related to the base sequence. Thank you. Thank you very much. And if this video will be useful for you, then please like it and subscribe it. Thank you again.